El Español in 45 minutes or less. Probably less. It's not that there's not that much to talk about Spanish, but you know. So, Spanish. Let's travel a bit. ¿De dónde viene? Where does it come from? España. Yeah, it comes from España. But Spanish or Castilian. You ever heard somebody call it Castilian, Castellano? Spanish is a Romance language of the Indo-European language family that evolved from colloquial Latin spoken in the Iberian Peninsula or of Europe, the Vulgate. Which sounds terrible, the vulgar. The vulgar Latin. Yeah, well, we're a little rough sometimes, but I don't think we're vulgar. All right, so today it is a global language with about 474.7 million native speakers, mainly in the Americas and Spain. A little more info about it. Romance languages. Anybody know why they're called Romance language, or what they have in common? They all come from the Latin, from the Vulgar, from the Vulgate. Romance languages are sometimes referred to by these languages as Latin languages or Neo-Latin languages, are numerous modern languages that evolved from late Latin that is spoken from what they call the Vulgar Latin. They are the only extant subgroup of the Italic languages branch of the Indo-European family. In other words, they spoke it here, and because all of these areas were part of Rome, they spoke it there too. Come to find out, Italian and Spanish are the only two that are closer to the actual Latin. Everybody else kind of went their own merry way, and we all know about the French. The French, you know, they're on their own trip. So we don't even deal with that. And this is, I found this is great to me because it shows you just how close they are to each other. You have to blow, which classically was sofflare. It became sofflare. Franco-Provençal, sofflare. French, souffler. What is it? From Romania. Romanian. Did you know that Romanian is a Romance language? I didn't know that. I'll tell you a story in a second. Soufflar, soffiare, soplar, souffla. They're all kind of the same thing because they all come from it. I got to tell you a story about what happened one year in Austin. The youth group was watching this film about the street children in Romania. We were trying to raise some money for them, and we're watching the movie. I had never seen the movie before. I'm watching it, and I'm reading the subtitles. All of a sudden, I'm about 10-15 minutes into the film, and I'm not even reading the subtitles anymore. I'm understanding what they're saying. And my first thought was, am I having an aneurysm? What is going on? But no, it's because I researched it later, and when it's a Romance language, well, of course, there's going to be some connection. If you've ever seen an Italian person and a Spanish person talk, neither one of them leaves their language, but they understand each other. I love watching the masses in Italian, from the ones from Rome or whatever, because I understand 90% of it. It's one of those things. But if you notice, like, beautiful, the word is bella. In Spanish, is bella. In French, is belle. So belle is not just that girl that goes around singing with books, okay? Bella in Portuguese. So it's all coming, but it all comes from the same root, from the same Vulgar Latin. These are the Romance languages: Spanish, Portuguese, French, Italian, and Romanian. The total of 880 million native speakers of Romance languages, they're divided as follows. Spanish has 54% of them. That's 475 million plus the people that are learning it as a second language, L2, meaning second language. Portuguese, 26 million. At L2, you got 260 million, 26%, sorry. French is 9%. Boy, those French get to make themselves known, don't they? Italian, 7%. Romanian, 3%. And then there's Catalan, which is a weird mixture of French and Spanish, English, German. It's just this whole mixture of stuff. But because it's really weird when you hear somebody speak Catalan, you hear a little bit and you go, oh wait, that sounded like Spanish. Oh wait, that's not Spanish. Oh wait, that sounded like French, but that's not French. Because they have a little mixture of it. And there's other languages about 3%. Spanish, however, is a Romance language, descendant of the Latin, and has one of the smaller degrees of differences from it alongside Sardinian and Italian. So they're the least further away from the original. Around 75% of the modern Spanish vocabulary is derived from the Latin, including Latin borrowings from ancient Greek. I'm moving on. And Spanish does not feature prominently as a scientific language. However, it is better represented in areas like humanities and social languages. Spanish is also the third most used language on the internet, after English and Chinese. Who would have known the Chinese? Wow, that's just a mind-blowing moment. Not. It is one of the 6 official languages of the United Nations, and is also an official language by the European Union and all those other places, which really I don't want to read all those associations. But it is an official language in some associations. Castellano, so it depends on who you talk to. They make a distinction of it, sometimes they don't. In some areas of the Spanish-speaking world, Spanish is not called Español, but instead called Castellano, Castilian, from Castile. Castilla-La Mancha, which is a place, an area in Spain. The language from the Kingdom of Castile, contrasting it with other languages spoken in Spain, such as Galician, Basque, Asturian, Catalan, Aragonese, and Occitan. There's all kinds of little languages in Spanish, where they're little areas. You have to, when you go to that area of Spain, you'll see signs in the other language and in Spanish. But they make it. Some people make a distinction between Castellano and Español. Castellano being the one that you speak with the sounds like the lisp, but it's not. There's a rule to the accent. And then Español, which is pretty much what everybody else speaks. However, to make a distinction, they decided to go, okay, well, Castellano is spoken in Spain in some areas, but if you never meet an Argentinian, you'll know this is true. In Argentina, they're very pure about it. We speak Castilian over here. They do. But they have a weird little accent too. And yeah, because they have a big Italian influence. Big Italian influence. Yo me llamo. The Spanish Constitution uses the term castellano to define the official language. It reads, el castellano es la lengua española oficial del Estado. Las demás lenguas españolas serán también oficiales en las respectivas comunidades autónomas. Castilian is the official Spanish language of the state. The other Spanish languages shall also be official in their respective autonomous communities. There is a distinction in Spain between Castellano and Español. It's not that one's better than the other, it's just that maybe the pronunciation is different. Maybe the vocabulary is a little bit different. So Castellano. The Royal Spanish Academy, did you know that? Spanish has a Royal Spanish Academy. Language doesn't change until they say it does. Unlike other languages, we just kind of...
it does in your Apple Music library. You can ask me to play a radio station. Your music in a different app.
Shut up, Siri. No, girlfriend, get away.
Okay?
Eavesdropping.
Oh, it scares me. That scares me sometimes. The Royal Spanish Academy, on the other hand, uses the term Español in its publications. Between 1713 and 1923, there was called Castellano, so they used Spanish, Español. The Diccionario Pan-Hispánico de Dudas, which is a language, dudas means doubts. So as if there's any questions or any problems that you have, you go to find this particular dictionary. It's published by the Royal Spanish Academy. And it states that although the Royal Spanish Academy prefers the term Español in its publications, when referring to the Spanish language, both terms, Español and Castellano, are synonymous and just as valid. So you got even controversy going on with the Royal Spanish Academy. So these are all the countries where Spanish is the official language. This is the darker blue. Can't tell much of a difference from the other little blue, the co-official language. And they have Spanish-speaking minorities. And guess where? Lots of them in the United States. I wonder why. Especially in the southern part. So, which one is the largest population of Spanish speakers? Where would you say? What do you say? Mexico. So we'll go with that. Yes. With 130 million. Which would you 131 million? Which would you say is number 2? Well, that's the whole continent. That's not fair. Every country. Argentina?
Maybe the USA?
Yes, sir. United States. With 57 million or 58 million. Third one, we got Colombia. With 52 million, more or less. So the top 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 languages, the have the largest number of Spanish speakers. If you look at it over here, they're using this total to go with it. What they're doing is they're including people that are learning it. They put it all together. So you have the second country where Spanish is spoken, the United States. That's huge. And it's not going to change. It's going to continue to happen. Good or bad. Okay. The population of Hispanic or Latino, if you notice, the closer you get to the southern border, the more concentrated it becomes. Unless you go to this teeny tiny island, Puerto Rico. My heart is devotion. Miami, well, of course, Cubans kind of took over the area. But you have it all there, and we got Hispanics all the way up north. I don't know what they're doing in the cold weather. Honestly, we come from warm areas and we go to the cold. But you got it in California, all the border. It's right there. New Mexico, big. Oh, that's the Instituto Cervantes. Instituto Cervantes is a worldwide nonprofit organization. It's an organization that branches with 45 countries, 88 centers, and the whole point is to spread the Spanish culture and the Hispanic American cultures. It estimates that by the year 2050 there will be 138 million Spanish speakers in this country. Which will make it the biggest Spanish-speaking nation on earth. So we're going from number 2 to number 1. We're the United States. We're number 1, right? We're going to be number 1 in everything. So we'll go for that. Now, I was having a little bit of fun with the language. We all know the differences between English in the United States and English in England. Like a flat is an apartment. Sweets are candy. Biscuits are cookies. To be mad is to be angry. Nappy is a diaper. A lift is an elevator. Chips are french fries. Rubbish is garbage or trash. Oh, that's my favorite word, rubbish. Petrol is gas. A film is a movie. Well, we use those. Pavement is the sidewalk. Trainers are sneakers. And going on holiday, you're going on vacation. Also, mind the gap. Also, a fag is a cigarette. So it's kind of an interesting thing. But there's differences even in the language within the United States. I had a whole discussion with another Spanish teacher about this. How would you pronounce that word? Caramel. Caramel. It depends. The red areas or the pink, the front of the pinkish, you have 2 syllables, caramel. With 3 syllables, we're going towards the east. And we know that, New York and them. Caramel. Then some people use both interchangeably, and I don't even know, I can't even see any green on there. But it says green. I use both forms, but the 2 have different meanings. I don't know how that could be, because caramel is caramel, and
Caramel is candy.
yeah, caramel is candy.
But when you have caramel.
Oh, if you have the caramel topping and caramel is just the candy. Okay, that works for me. Oh my gosh, stop. I like technology. I like technology. I like technology. All right, here you go. How do you say that word? Let's see. If you're in the reddish area, it's 3 syllables. Mayonnaise. If you're in the blue area, mayonnaise. If you're in the green, interchangeably, I love this one, other. White stuff. What would you go with the other? What would be the other? I always like these things because they kind of crack me up. And this is just within the country. All right. Oh, this one's if you're from the South, and somebody says pecan, you want to just throw something at them. Because it's pecan. The reddish area says it's pecan. No, honey, it's pecan. And then there's pecan and pecan. Live in the South for a while. Bacon? Pecan pie. Why, you little George girl? Oh, fiddly dee. All right, what do we have next? What do you call those? Oh, my kind of woman back there, because I do the same thing. You have soda in the red area. You have pop in the blue area. I'm more for the green area. I say Coke. I lived in Texas enough times that you go to a restaurant, you say, what do you like to drink? I like Coke, what kind? But you want to see somebody freak out? Bring somebody, a Yankee, to one of those places and they ask for a Coke and they'll go, what kind? What do you mean, what kind? There's only one kind of Coke. No, the Coke is a generic thing. Or a soft drink. Or pop. I love these things. Okay, what do you call that? It's a water fountain?
Drinking fountain.
Well, you got a water fountain, you got a drinking fountain, and then you have the very strange bubbler. A bubbler! I'd love to know how that happened. I don't get it. But it's still a bubbler. What do you call that? Sandwich, a sub. Okay. Well, you got a sub, red, a hoagie, in blue, a hero, somewhere in the green, other. Ever heard of a po' boy? Po' boys in You go to Louisiana, you ask for a po' boy. That's why it's lighter there, because they're going to be different.
P-O-B-O-Y.
P-O-B-O-Y, yes, a po' boy. I love me a shrimp po' boy. So Spanish is spoken in 20 some odd different countries, so you're going to have a variation on it. Imagine if English is spoken basically England, United States, and maybe Southern Africa. Well, Australia, I can't leave Australia behind. Well, and there's differences within the country. Imagine what it's like in Spanish. What do you call that? In Spanish? Carro? Automobile? You got carro? Coche in Spain. Auto in Argentina. And some places in Cuba it's called máquina. A machine. Then my dad used to call them la máquina. It always reminds me of, how many of you have seen 16 Candles? If you've seen 16 Candles, one of the funniest parts is when Grandpa goes over to ask the Asian exchange students, where is my automobile? And the kid is drunk and he's like, your automobile? I just think it's hilarious. Sorry, I digress. I warn people, there's so much junk inside this head after 64 years that it just bubbles out once in a while and just amuses me. That's all I care about. This, I even check with a buddy of mine from Spain on this one. We have un grillo. We have a chapulín. By the way, if you go to Mexico, you can eat chapulines. They have them for you fried and ready to eat. Chirrión in Chile. In some places in Spain, it's saltamontes. Saltamontes, jumps hills. Not that they're really jump hills, but you know.
Also the kind of the wild plants.
Yeah?
Called montes.
Montes. Oh, okay. So saltamontes, they'll jump over the wild plants. These pretty little things, see? Earrings. But in Spanish, you have aretes.
Zarcillos.
You have aros in Argentina. Pendientes in Spain. What did you call them, Elizabeth?
I said zarcillos.
Zarcillos?
Algo así.
There you go. Got a new one. I didn't have that on there. Besides being food, what do you call the meat? What comes before the meal, or what do you call, or when you're having a drink? It's appetizers. Well, they're called tapas in Spain. There is. Hold on. What in the movie in the way? What they're not called tapas in a certain part of Spain.
I can't remember.
I cannot remember what it was called. But Martin Sheen, the character in the movie, his character got into trouble because he asked for a tapas. We don't have tapas here, senor. We have something else.
Botanas in Mexico.
Yes, botanas in Mexico. You can go and get botanas in pretty much any restaurant that you want to.
Pasabocas.
Picadas in Argentina.
Pasabocas en Colombia.
Pasabocas.
Sí. Y pasapalos en Venezuela.
Pasapalos in Venezuela. That's my favorite one.
But you
Palo is a stick.
No, but you know what is, in that case, is the drink.
Oh.
So it's between drinks so you don't get drunk.
Oh, pasapalo. Yeah. I have a story now that when we went, I took a group of kids to Spain one year, and we went to, they call La Casa del Jamón. They tell you ham, all kinds of ham stuff. And I went and got a sandwich, and I want a Coke. So we all got Cokes. Next thing you know, they're giving us these little plates with olives, and they're putting them on our drinks. And one of my students goes, "Holy crap, you weren't lying. They really do give us something to eat." I'm like, "Yes, it's called tapas. I'm gonna lie?" They really thought it was just, I made something up just to make it interesting. But no, it's for them when they encounter this for the first time and they go, they really do these things. It's almost like teachers know what they're doing. I roll. This is fun too.
Maize.
Maize. You got maize in Spain. Elote in Mexico. We have Mexican ladies in our cafeteria, so they always ask us, ¿Quiere elote? Do you want some corn? Choclo in Argentina. Jojote in Venezuela.
Jojoto.
Jojoto. Oh, misspelling. I got it from the source that way. Sorry. I'll go.
Well, maybe it's jojote and the people, yeah. But
You got a bus here. Autobús in Spain.
Camión.
Where in Puerto Rico, it's called la guagua. I love saying that word. Un colectivo in Argentina. Micro in Chile. In Mexico, it's called un camión. And but camión to a Spaniard is a truck. So they had I have a friend in Spain, and he said that he had Mexicans over, and he was showing them around. He said, "Okay, esperen aquí por el autobús, wait here for the bus." And they all went, "Well, ¿cuándo viene el camión?" And in his mind, he thought they said, "When does the truck get here?" And he's like, "No, not a truck, a bus." They had a discussion over that. And I think that's all I got, folks.
I got a question.
I told you, it was a short little lesson.
Latino is Spanish Hebrew. When somebody speaks it, you can't understand it. It's
Yeah.
like Spanish.
Spanish Hebrew, yeah.
Yes.
You know.
But where is that spoken?
That, I tell you what, we went to get Professor Cortez over here, Luis Cortez, and see if he can tell us some about that. I'm sure he knows a lot more of that history than I do. I'm just kind of winging it here, folks, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you like my winging. But it's kind of funny when you see that in Spain, on the 5th of January, they have the 3 wise men that are coming, so they have this huge parade. It's a humongous parade. Inevitably, it's an Italian that has designed the whole parade and all the floats and everything. Well, whenever they interview him, they always ask him questions in Spanish, and he answers in Italian, and there's never subtitles. Which makes people that don't know Spanish kind of freak out because they wonder, why can't I get subtitles? Spaniards don't need it. Spanish speakers, we don't need subtitles when we're listening to Italian. We get it. So it's one of those things where it's kind of fun to, when you know more than one language, to do that stuff.